everyone, welcome to Kat's Creations. On Thursday, this is our morning session, and I know we're changing things up from what you're used to from your traditional Friday and Sunday night lives. We're kind of mixing it up and doing a Tuesday live in the evening, and then we're also doing a Thursday live kind of midway through the day. So I want to welcome you. Today we're going to be making a springtime deco mesh wreath because there's a lot of people who may or may not take on the Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day holiday, and instead right after Christmas they just kind of move into a springtime wreath, and then that lasts them through like summer where they'll get into their Memorial Day wreaths or what have you. So today we're kind of doing something a little bit simple for spring. Technically it's not even really spring, you can use it every day. So let me get a couple housekeeping items taken care of first. If you like this design and want to replicate it, all I ask you to do is simply click the share button. It will share this to your Facebook page where it will be so much easier for you to find when you're ready for the ideas to kind of put this together on your own. YouTube viewers, a little bit different. You're going to want to click the subscribed bell up in the right hand corner because this is going to come to YouTubers later today from an earlier Facebook Live. So clicking on the subscription button will let you know once you subscribe to my channel whenever we upload a new video, which generally in most cases is either Tuesday and Thursday, or it could be early Wednesday, early Friday. It just depends on the system. It depends on how everything works on the technology side on the back end. And so I think we're ready to get started. Let me make sure I have everything pulled up. There we go. Make sure everything's turned down. All right, I got it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip you down, and we're gonna walk you through what we need to do to put this together. So I'm gonna pivot you all the way straight down. A little too far. If you put that right here, then I can kind of see it. Okay, everything looks good for here. So we're doing this on a 14-inch Dollar Tree frame. It's been a while since we went back to a little bit of what you're used to. As you can see that I don't have everything all geared together. I'm trying some new things to kind of expedite time. So I'm going to show you out of a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame how we have 6 different sections. We're going to wire together one. I'm going to show you how we're going to lay our deco mesh in, and then we're going to kind of fast forward to one that's pretty much 7/8 of the way done. So we're going to take our pipe cleaner. In each of the sections, they're going to be wired exactly the same. So you're going to take your pipe cleaner and wire together the 2 innermost rings right in the center using the weld marks here and here. Just kind of find a halfway point. It doesn't need to be perfect, just something halfway. And then we're going to do the same thing with another 2 pipe cleaners, only this time we're going to do the outside 2. And we're kind of looking for a midway point between this pipe cleaner and this weld mark. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we just give them like one complete twist. And then we're going to go ahead and do it to the other side. Same theory, just like this. And then this way you have 1 in the center, 2 on the outside. If you wire together each of your 6 sections, you're going to have 6 on the inside 2, and then you're going to have 12 on the outside 2 for a grand total of 18. And that's our pretty much standard layout for wiring up a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take this, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but if I do it really tight, you might be able to see the colors a little bit better. A little bit. So what we have is a baby blue and white plaid or a checked deco mesh. This is a fabric mesh from Joann's that they came out with last spring. So we have these cut to 20-inch pieces. You have to use a rotary tool because this contains cotton fibers that run both horizontally and vertically. So sadly, we can't use our wood burning tool on this. So we're going to lay this flat. We're going to go ahead and we're going to ruffle, which is you're going to start gathering your deco mesh. Just kind of find a midway point up your mesh, and you're just going to start taking it and pulling it towards you, just like this. And what it's doing is like kind of doing folded pleats that you're gathering right here, just like that till you're finished. Okay. And then we're going to take this, because the cut edges were on the top and the bottom. These are the finished sides. We're going to put our finished side right in between the two outside pieces right here. Okay, just like that. A couple twists, and then you can kind of fold it out a little bit. And then what the inside piece does is it creates coverage for the two outside pieces that are going to overlay on either side. This way it helps with covering your wreath frame so you don't see your wreath frame as much. So we're going to go ahead and grab another piece. We're going to gather this one. And it doesn't have to be a perfect gather. You know, people are like, well, I'm trying to get perfect little gathered pleats. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be completed. So now I'm going to take this one and kind of push it back so I can actually expose my pipe cleaner. Then I'm going to lay this one right to the outside. Oops. Just like so. Couple twists. I'm going to go ahead and remove the yarn that this has picked up. And see, what we're doing now with this one is you want to make sure that you've got good coverage, that the inside piece is really covering your frame. And then you're going to overlap that on top of the one that we laid in the center. Now we're going to do the other outside piece. And this is how you're going to complete your frame. You're going to wire the whole thing in pipe cleaners. You're going to take whatever color deco mesh you want. If you're doing the ruffle method, which is what we're doing here, this is how you would lay them out. Now here, see, you can see that I've got it completely covering my pipe cleaner. I'm going to kind of push everything back so that I can come in and lay that right on top. Couple twists, and then the same thing. Just make sure that you have good coverage all the way through. And this section right here, the one section we were working on, is pretty well covered. Deco mesh, it kind of pushes everything together, and then you have your adjoining pieces on either side that are also going to come in here. Same thing with your inner pieces. They're going to constantly like build upon your layers so that you have really good coverage. Do you guys have any questions at all? Okay, so that's what we're going to do the whole way through. So I am going to remove the pieces I just put in. So I'm going to take this one, set it to the side, and I'm going to grab one that I have finished except for the final section, and we're going to go ahead and finish this one. So I'm going to go right to my center. We're going to add this one in, nice and tight right to the frame. And because I know what my final design's going to look like and where I need to create some space and to save time so I don't forget, is I'm going to remove the 6 inner ones. So I'm just going to take this and make sure that I've got great coverage right behind all those other pieces, and that I still have my pipe cleaners ready to go for those next pieces. So I'm going to go remove this one, grab that. We're going to make sure we have good ends ready to go. And then we're just going to kind of come in. When you get to your last one or two, those become a challenge because at this point they're starting to overlap on top of each other, which is exactly what you want it to do. Just like that. Nice even coverage, and then we'll do this last one. So our ruffle's already done. Remove that. Clear out our last space. Plop this right on the inside. And then we're ready to go. I think I have 2 on the insides that I need to remove still. But you can see how now we have really good coverage. So I'm going to go in and remove these 2.
I'll just join in as is this a pancake method?
No. It looks similar to a pancake method. Here's the difference between a pancake method. Is a pancake method would have 6 on the inside, just like we've laid out here, and you would only have 6 to the outside. So we have doubled the number of ones that go to the outside for this ruffle method, which is where you get that separation. It looks similar because in some aspects when you do a pancake, and we'll do that for our next tutorial on Tuesday, I'll show you a pancake method wreath and show you what the difference is. Most people like the pancake wreath because they get the best of both worlds. They get a deco mesh wreath that can fit inside a storm door space, so it's more flat. This is more ruffly. It's got ruffles and scrunches and curls everywhere. So this is the desired look for this. So I've removed my inside 6, and let me show you what the sign looks like that we're going to be doing.
Teresa shared it to my group page.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you all
that.
for liking and sharing.
Okay, let's got a little bit. Did that make it worse or better?
Yeah, you can see it. It's made it worse.
This makes it worse?
Yeah.
What about that?
Right there. That's good.
Okay, so this sign is a 10-inch round, and I'll tell you who it's from in just a second. This is the sign. It's a little house that says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," from Joshua 24, verse 15. This is from Personalize It by Pam. If you like these signs, you can purchase them directly from her website. She does have a shop on Etsy, but it is Personalize It by Pam, and that's where you can pick up your signs. I like the 10-inch rounds. Is this 10? No, this one's an 8. Wow, we went way low. Okay, so this is an 8. So the reason why I wanted this one is we may do a double bow, or we may just do a single bow and then add some florals, like adding some blue, some white, and some pink florals to this design to kind of tie it all in together. Now, if you're in my personal group or my private group, you'll understand why this design can prove to be so challenging. It's because every single color in the sign design is a tertiary color. It's a shade of a primary and a secondary color mixed together. And so when you're looking for a sage green, it's really hard to find a sage green or a light blue or a pink, because those are so hard to match that you struggle to find the exact sagey green. It's either more blue or more green. It's never going to be the exact color you want. The only way you can come up with an exact color is use white, and then you're good. And then everything else just becomes a complementary color that we can add to this. So I tried to pair this as best as possible using the white and the blue checked, kind of playing with this little pattern here at the bottom with the checked plaid or checked gingham is kind of where we're leaning. You're going to see this a lot introduced into our design. But now we're going to use the outside 12 pieces to add some ribbon tails and what I call half bows to our design. So the thing I'm going to do is separate the 2.5 inch, and we're doing this rose, pink roses on white canvas with a pink edge. Where did this one come from? This came from Craft Outlet, and then the blue and white gingham is from Craft Outlet as well. So these are both 2.5-inch ribbons. They are both cut to 14-inch pieces. They are all wired. So I'm just going to take them and we're going to alternate the color combination. So I always fold them in half so that I know right where half is when I go to gather these. We're going to place these right on the inside. Just one twist. And then we're just going to grab our ribbon with your fingers underneath and just flip that outward so that it radiates outward. Like when we were little kids and we drew suns, they always had the lines going to the outside. That's pretty much exactly what we're doing here. And then we're going to alternate the colors between pink and blue.
14 inches.
These are cut to 14 inches. Okay, we're going to do this one. Just like so. One complete twist. Again, grab the underside and radiate it to the outside. And you, as a designer, can pick and choose whether you want pink to be the prominent color on your design, or you may choose to do the blue as more of your predominant color. It's entirely up to you. So whichever one you pick, you know, the customer can always change too. If they would rather have pink on top, they can go in and just make the slight adjustment to the ribbon tails on the outside. And it really only impacts the two that are closest together, which are when the two outer sections meet another outer piece, then you get that slight overlap. So really quick, we're going to go through and add these. Two twists. I like the blue to the outside. I'm leaning towards the blue today. This blue gingham definitely reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's dress. Every time I use it, I'm like, oh, it's Dorothy's dress. Okay, there's that one. This goes pretty quickly. Over. I wanted the blue on top. And you can even pre-stage your pipe cleaners, knowing that you're going to come around with ribbon tails and just kind of make them do like an up and down position. Just like so.
Yeah, no problem. She says I have to go back to work. We'll watch a replay.
Yeah, no worries. This will get pinned to the top of this page, so it's easy for you to find, just in case I post other things throughout the day. If you want to get back to this, just look for it pinned to the very top. Okay. Thought we were going to have a sunny day today, but it looks like it's going to stay cloudy all day. Kind of. It looks like maybe. Straight up and down, straight up and down. Just a couple more, and then we will add what I call half bows to this design. And you can choose to design it any way you like. There's no right and wrong way to, you know, work your design together. If you want to add two different 2.5 inch and a crisscross pattern, you can definitely do that. I like to work in 1.5 inches and a 2 inch. This way you can see both of them a little easier. There's that one. Last one, and then we'll go in really quickly and add our half bows. So the colors that I've chosen for the half bows is I'm choosing to lean into a solid color pink rather than pair it with an additional printed pink. So we're going with a solid pink on canvas. This is also from Craft Outlet, and so is the baby blue with the white dots known as Swiss dot. These are both cut to 19-inch pieces, and we're gonna pair them a little bit differently. Let's look at something, because I'm thinking what would happen if we paired blue with blue and then pink with pink. Normally I would break up the colors and put the pink with the blue and then the blue with the pink, but I think I'm going to lean into let's keep blue with blue and pink with pink. So a half bow is just taking that 19-inch piece that is already dovetail cut, bring your ends together, and then go up about 2 inches from the top, pinch those in. We're going to take this and lay that right on the inside of our existing 2.5 inch. We're going to give it a couple twists. We're going to go ahead and remove that with this little end right here. We're going to take that, tuck it right behind. You're going to go ahead and open up that loop all the way. We have to right side one of our ends because it was folded. And now we can pair the blues on top of the blues. And now you have a nice little half bow. So I always say it's a half bow because it only has one loop. So it's a half of a bow. Still has the two tails, but it looks nice like that. And then we're going to take that solid pink, do the exact same thing. Oops. Snip that excess off, tuck it behind, open it up, right side the bottom piece. I like to pair them between the half bow, so this way, or the split in your 2.5 inch ribbon, this way you can see all the colors coming through. You can see your all four patterns and colors represented in your outside ribbons and tails. And now we'll just go through really quick and fill in the rest of them now that we know what our patterns are. You'll see it goes pretty quick once you get it down. And then just kind of drawing your fingers underneath that wired ribbon will put those nice little arcs back in your ribbon. I believe this pink color is a Dupani, so it's not quite a satin. It's more like a canvas style satin.
Thank you for all the loves and likes.
Okay, pull this one back under. It's kind of pulling my ribbon pieces around the free loose pieces. And obviously, these colors will be represented in our bow that we'll be making once we finish this. what do you guys think of the color combinations paired with the sign? Do you think that that was a good color pick?
This is lovely wreaths.
Thank you so much, Brenda. There we go.
Jerry said, I love it. Very pretty.
Thank you.
Julie said late, but I'm here. Such pretty colors.
Thanks, Julie. Did you get to your live that you were working on, or is that later? You said you were going to do a live. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. I try. Because I'm like, why do people watch tutorials? Sometimes people just like to watch things being created. But a lot of people watch them to know exactly how to put something together.
Yeah, it gives them a lot of design ideas.
Yeah.
Color ideas. Like you just did your color theory class.
Yeah, so the color theory class is probably like the best class in the Back to Basics, because we really pull apart color theory and talk about it and why it's so hard to take a sign and find a good match, and how do you not overspend, you know, especially when you're buying online. There's no way to really see the color with our sign. You know, we kind of have to take a wild guess at it. And so I gave them some tips and tricks on what they can do so that they can kind of keep things in a same color palette, or just understand, hey, if you pick this line, it's going to be a little frustrating for you to figure something out.
Julia said I did it yesterday afternoon. Only used 34 roses, so I think mine were a little bit different.
Nice.
She ordered some pink and some other
Okay.
ones too.
Could be. And it could just be in how, you know, we positioned them on the frame as well. I think there's quite a bit of, like, different varieties of how you can kind of place those all on that frame. Did you do a heart-shaped frame?
Julia said I'm watching you to learn more. I've only done a few wreaths.
Nice. So I'm going to be challenging a lot of you this year. We're going to tackle a lot of different designs. We're going to do more florals. We're going to do floral hoops. We're going to get into a lot of the beaded look that seems to be really popular right now.
Darlene, thank you. She said, watching from North Carolina. I love to watch you create. You give amazing inspirational and instructions.
And then I saw Jalee's call it.
Yeah.
So she did do the heart frame.
It turned out really nice.
Yeah. And thank you, Darlene. I appreciate your compliments. That really helps. So now that I have a captive audience, let me ask you a question, because I've never asked this question before, is what would you like to see? What would you like to have me explain differently? Like, is there any area where you were really struggling with anything, or is there anything that I could explain better? Like, do I do making bows too quickly? Do you know, what would work for you? You tell me. Can you do I'm trying to think of like what question people would ask. Some people don't even like the explanations. They just want, like, really quick. Show how you do.
Maybe you can just show them how you cut the pipe cleaners off on your half bows and tuck them in behind.
Well, I did that.
Yeah. I just mean those kind of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all helpful to know. Okay, so as you can see, this looks all put together. We've got our outside border of our little half bows, which is going to make for really nice. You can almost see, okay, so we have this area in the middle where we'll be working with adding our sign and adding our bow. And then we can add some florals to the outside or around the inside if we'd like. So I'm going to take this and push this aside. We're going to work on our bow. So I'm using the bow dabra. And I think I found my recipe. Yes, I did. I was cleaning this last weekend. So this is the bow recipe.
She said, I love seeing, I think she meant different ways of mesh patterns.
Okay. Different mesh patterns. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to vary this one a little bit because we're still going to be making what I call the 11-inch loop size diameter bow. And so we're measuring the diameter from the edges of the loops, not the ends of the tails. Okay, so this is going to yield an 11-inch bow, but you can vary this. You can do all 1.5-inch ribbon. You can do half 2.5, half 1.5 inch. It's entirely up to you. If you go to my website, which Steve's going to pin right now, you can download this ribbon recipe. And we did it really super cute. We put it on a recipe card like it's a recipe so that you can download it, print it out, and you have it. Because it looks a little bit better than me handwriting this on a piece of paper. But we're going to follow the formula, not necessarily, doing 2.5-inch ribbons and 4.5 inches. I'm going to be doing 1 2.5-inch ribbon and then 5 1.5-inch ribbons. So I will leave this here as we put that together. I think you can still see that, right?
I will do it so we can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to use a bow dabra to do this. So we're still keeping the rose pattern. We're still keeping our Swiss dot and our pink. We're also going to be introducing a blue and white gingham in the 1.5 inch. We're going to be incorporating some white printed roses on the pink. And then we're also going to be coming in with an ombre color blue, starting with a very, very pale light blue all the way up to the top. The ombre color came from, I think it's Burton & Burton. Yes, Burton & Burton. And then the pink, the roses, the white roses on pink is from 5th Street Studios. The gingham is from Craft Outlet, so that tells you where all the ribbon came from. I think I'm going to break, I like this pattern, but I think I want to break it up and put, I would like to keep the gingham on the outside, which means, and I generally don't like to put pattern with pattern, but then I'm still, if I do it that way, it's still looking that way. Let's see. I wanted this on the outside. So we'll just make that work and see how it rolls. So.
Thank you, Julie. She said, I think you do an awesome job of explaining everything. I recommend your Facebook page all the time. And then Jerry said, my thing is when a creator says a number of bunches on center and bottom, I always end up using so many more to cover.
Oh, okay. So, the next time we do another Deco Mesh Wreath, what I will explain to you is exactly, quality of Deco Mesh is going to be everything for you. So if you use, and I hate to say this, but sometimes Joann's and even Hobby Lobby and Michael's, the quality of mesh that you get from them, we're paying more than we should on that particular type of Deco Mesh, and it doesn't cover as well. So you're having to use more of it to try to manipulate some sort of coverage. So I'll try to give you some tips on how to get better coverage on your design. That feels like it's going too far. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2.5 inch ribbon. We're going to do a dovetail cut, which is that little V cut in the bottom. So you're going to bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side down to the wired point. And depending upon how high up you are on the ribbon determines how deep your V cut will be. I like mine pretty deep. And then we're going to take this all the way over and we're going to do a 10-inch tail. So we're gathering at the 10-inch mark, right side fabric up. We're going to twist. So now we have right side, wrong side. But when we turn this around, bring it up and over, we have just completed our first loop. Now the loop needs to be 5.5 inches to work with this recipe. So you're going to line up your bow dabra so that the line here lines up on your 10. So when you stretch this out, you can see where is 5.5 inches, which is right there. Here's my 5.5 inch line. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side. Twist, always twist, and then push it back inside.
I said yes, that's true. Craft Outlet usually has the best mesh.
For a lot less, and we don't have to wait for it to go on. Well, sometimes it goes on clearance too. Okay, and then we're cutting at 10 inches for our tail. Dovetail cut again. Just like that. Throw this off to the side. These will go on my project thing, so those get put away. What did you do?
I just moved them over here.
Were they like this?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. So now we're gonna do the ombre color. This one has a real, it's wired, as you can tell, but it has a very thin tinsel in there, so it doesn't have an awful lot of strength on its own. Oh, what am I doing? Dovetail is getting ready to cut these into tails or half bows. So we're going to go ahead and dovetail cut. This one's going to be 9.5 inches. Just like that. You can see how it has life, but it needs some help. Needs some support. This one's going to be 5 inches long. So we're always bringing it back. Bringing it out, making sure it fits in the 5s. Up and over. Back to our 10. Stretch that out. If you're right on the mark, then you're good. And this one was at 9.5 inches.
Julie said I try to buy a good ribbon, but some of it still has the wire come out on the ends.
Yes, I hate that too.
I'm not sure what to do so it doesn't happen. Do you ever burn your edges of, or do you ever have to go back and trim wire from edges? Yeah, you trim the wire.
I trim the wire, and it never fails when you, and it depends on the ribbon, how the ribbon is made. As you're bending it, a lot of times the wire will come out. I just trim that up, and then we're good. I wish there was that tip on how to make that work.
And Carolina said, hey, watching from Scotland. I think you do an amazing job at explaining each and every step you do.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us all the way in Scotland.
That's a good probably time because they're about 9 hours probably ahead of us.
Right. So this one's going to be 9 inches. So we're going to do the same thing. Measure our 9-inch tail. Do our dovetail cut. And then this one, we're going with a 4.5-inch loop. So we'll make sure that measures up. And it does. 4.5 inches again. Bring that in. Okay. And then we'll back out to 9 inches. And I have a tendency of using sharper scissors, like on the thinner ribbon, because I really want a nice, good cut. See how it always sounds like someone's coming up the driveway?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. They're never there. Mm-hmm. I've gone back and forth thinking somebody's driving up the driveway, and there's never anyone there. Okay. Taking our Swiss dot. This time we're going 8.5 inches straight up. And because this one has the same 4.5 inch and 4.5 inch, because we've already measured ribbon number 3, I'm going to show you a shortcut so you don't have to like readjust everything. Just kind of gauge about how much ribbon you're going to need. Put your finger in the bottom loop and in the loop you're working on and pull. Because you've already measured the bottom, all you have to do is pull them, make sure you've got same loops. Do it on the other side. Just kind of ballpark it, pull to make sure. But you're still going to need to measure your final 8.5 inches. There's that. Alrighty.
Drew said, have you seen the new bow maker that's coming out sometime this year? Trendy Tree did a video when they were at market. It looks interesting.
Really? No, I have not seen that. I have not seen it, so I don't know what it looks like. It makes us wonder, though, how many times are we going to buy another bow maker that does the same thing as something else? And, you know, when you go and search YouTube looking for, okay, there's got to be more bows than just a handful of the ones people are doing. In all honesty, there really isn't. The technique is all the same. You know, you might choose to do 2 loops of the blue Swiss dot, and that's fine. That's really the only variation you'll ever get is, you know, you could just pick 1 or 2 different color ribbons and add a bunch more loops and just a handful of tails. It's entirely up to you. So this one's an 8-inch tail, but this one has a 4.5 inch or 4-inch loop. So we do need to measure for that one. Okay, up and over.
That's a good comment. Kelly said, hi, Kat. I always appreciate your lives because it helps to give a realistic sense of how long it takes to make a quality wreath. Other creators give the illusion that you can complete a wreath from cutting mesh and ribbons to finish in less than an hour. I feel like that's a disservice to new crafters.
Okay, so that is a very real expectation. So if I was to calculate the amount of time that I put into prepping my ribbon tails and half loops and cutting my deco mesh and putting it on a frame, just doing it out of habit based on, you know, if I was sitting here by myself, how quick can I blow out a wreath from start to finish and cutting all my materials? About an hour and a half, honestly.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. And I'm cleaning up as I'm going. I used to never do that. I used to just throw my ribbon in a basket and I'll be like, I'll get to that later. Here's the problem. When I get to it later, I regret the fact that I never just took the little bit of extra time to put the pins back in the ribbon, stack them in a bin where I know I'm gonna I can grab and then just go take that whole basket to my ribbon wall and just put them all away. And I don't know if I would ever be able to create a wreath in less than an hour. It's really hard.
It'd have to be a pretty simplistic design to do it.
Yeah, like I'm not going to add any embellishments and I don't know, I take the time to do it because for me, if somebody's purchasing it, that's my name, my reputation, my design on the line. So, and some people can just do quick designs, you know, but that's why I said it's a formula, but there is no right and wrong way to do it. So if people can do it in an hour or under an hour, hey, my hat's off to them. I wish I could. You know, I've had people reach out and say, hey, we'd like to feature you on one of our wreath making shows. Can you get to a design in under an hour? And I'm like, it's going to be close to impossible. Something's going to have to get sacrificed somewhere. like
Unless you pre-prep
putting
half the wreath. Right?
Yeah, like I did today. I didn't show you putting in all 18 pieces. I did that pre-work ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me do it. And let's do light blue. I think I have one here. So I'm going to take a light blue pipe cleaner. I prefer pipe cleaners over zip ties and floral wire when I'm doing my bows. You might have a different preferred method. My hand strength as I've gotten older is I'm losing it. Even though I make grease pretty faithfully, you would think my hand muscles would be really strong. No, they're not. It's just one of those signs of getting older. Okay, so what you are seeing, and I'm going to be revising this a little bit because our other fluff board is currently in the shop being repaired, if it can be repaired. This is just a 24-inch by 24-inch by 1-inch thick piece of wood with a 1.5-inch C-hook or a cup hook that you just screw into the bottom. When I'm fluffing my ribbons, I need something on a flat surface, and I need something or someone to hold it. So this is my device. We're just going to go ahead and loop. Can you zoom in on that? Yeah. If you can. We're going to take the pipe cleaner. What I'm doing is the edge, the open end of my C-hook. I am attempting to push in under that ribbon and loop it around like that. So it's holding my ribbon. I can still move it, left and right, but for the most part, it keeps it from sliding off the board surface. So I'm going to actually probably buy the adhesive laminate, and I'm just going to laminate the surface so it's smoother than what the wood surface is. So look for that to change. But I want to say buying this is about $15 pre-cut. So just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, go into the lumber department. It's going to be above all their other like plywood and wood. They're going to be in little vertical shelves. You can pull them out based on dimension. And then it's good. You bring it home, you add your C-hook, and you have your own fluff board. So to fluff, we'll call this the top. This is the bottom, okay? So when I say we're going to start from the top, we're going to start with the bottom ribbon, which is our rose. We're going to take the loop and our tail and separate them, okay? That's all we're doing. Now I'm going to go over to the bottom stack, and we're going to do the opposite. Starting with the bottom, but I'm going to pull my tail off to the left and the loop out to the right. This way, both loops are opposite each other and both tails are opposite each other. And I'm going to continue to do that as I pull my stack down. So here, now I'm going opposite. I'm going to pull my loop and my tail in opposite directions. Okay, so we're staggering the colors. Flipping over to the other side, I'm going to take my tail out here and my loop out here. So if I try to gather this stack, you can kind of see tail, loop, loop, tail, tail, loop, loop, tail. Okay, so as a designer, you might want to change it up. Like you might not want all pink on one side. You might want to put some pink on the opposite side. It's just whatever you do at the top here, make sure you do it on the bottom as well. So I'm choosing to put pink there, and I'm going to put my blue, following my blue. I'm going to change it on the next one. Go back to the other side. Here's my tail. Here's my loop. And now instead of putting pink back here, I'm going to follow this one right over here. So I changed the direction. So when I go to my bottom stack, all I need to do is make sure I'm following suit. It's just breaking up the blue being, blue on blue on blue. So right now, everything is compressed. I have not fluffed anything. I've just separated loops from tails. And you can vary this, right? You can choose to maybe put some of your tails in between here. This is just what I'm doing on this particular design. Again, no right or wrong way to do that. So I have all my tails here because it helps me with the design process. When I get ready to lay in my sign, I don't have to worry that I have tails hanging over. I'm just going to put it in a place where I have loops. Okay, so from here, I'm going to take the top two. I'm going to lift and bring them up. This is now where we're fluffing. We go inside the loops, bring them up. Don't worry about your tails. And then you're going to grab the next two and decide where you want them. You know, you might want the blue in between. You might want the pink in between. It's up to you. You can play with it and see which one you like better. Sometimes I like to mix it up and not go the same on the opposite sides and go opposite. Just like this. And pull this one over so it's a little different. And then in the bottom, you're going to do the exact same thing. Grab the two bottom ones, decide what you like and where, and then really fluff that up. So now we're taking our bow from a one-dimensional look and giving it a two-dimensional look. Just like so. Okay? And then just play with what you like in different areas. Make sure everything is fluffed. And then for our tails, we're just going to take them and we're just going to pretend we have fake scissors like the curling ribbon and just run those through your fingers and all of your ribbon will just have gorgeous little curls in them. The thinner ribbon is a little harder because it doesn't have an awful lot of strength to hold it up, but it will. I kind of like that little darker color. So there is how we have created a bow. And if you like, you know, you might choose to make sure all your tails end at the largest area where your bow comes at. Again, it's entirely up to you. You're the designer. You decide what you want, what look you're going for. You can play with it and cut them off. And if you hate it, just go back and make another bow. Okay, that one's all done. Just don't want to knock it over. Okay, we're bringing our wreath back with our ribbons in it. Now we are going to take our sign. We're going to add our sign right into the center. We're going to go ahead and place our bow right here. So with the sign center, I'm going to punch holes down here and I'm going to punch a hole here, or I could do side to side. Maybe I'll do side to side, which means you need a metal hole punch pliers. So these are 1.5 millimeter Beadsmith metal hole punch. You can get them from Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. The Beadsmith brand, I believe you have to just get online at Amazon. I will link these in the description box for both the Facebook video, and I'll do that for the YouTubers. So if you're looking for the Beadsmith metal hole punch, go to the description box directly below the video. On Facebook, it'll be directly above the video, and you might need to open it up, but I'll put the Amazon link to find these. So we are just going to punch a hole right here on the end. And these are the same pair that I've been using for
3 years.
No, longer than that. I'm trying to think. Almost 5 years. I have a new pair, but I haven't. They're still in my box. Sometimes I just buy them to keep them on hand in the event that I should need new ones. Thank you. We would do that. So I'm using 22 gauge floral wire. You could use a pipe cleaner. There's nothing wrong with that. I used pipe cleaners for a long time. And you can use pipe cleaner is the same way. Just keep in mind that your pipe cleaner, just like the floral wire, is going to show on the underside. And I just buy that in a big roll like this from, this one happens to be from Michaels. So it's 22 gauge wire. Because it goes through almost anything. It's what I use to put all my embellishments on if I'm doing plushes. It allows me to wire them in. So we're just feeding it in. And then from the back side, right over this hole, I'm just going to take, and I did a crisscross right over the hole. And now I'm just twisting my wire about 5 times. And what this does right over the hole is it's creating a base for this sign to sit on. So as I lift this up and show you, there is a small little base of wire that I've kind of built the sign up on. Okay, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Just like so.
Joining how you attach the tails and how long are they?
Ribbon tails are 14 inches. The half bow 1.5 pieces are 19 inches. And they just got attached through the pipe cleaners that were on them. One more. Right there. Okay, we're going to take our sign. We're going to add that right into our design. I'm going to make this one, it's not going to be completely centered. It's going to kind of be to the bottom right. So I am pulling my deco mesh up from the end. And I am just going to fish this down. This is so easy on this mesh. I want to make sure I get it right on one of my wired pieces. Okay, I'm going to pull my sign down to the depth I want it to be. You don't want it to go all the way down because this is where you get the signs that look like they're sunk into the wreath. Just kind of figure out about what height you want that to. And then just go ahead and give it a couple twists just in case you need to move it. I'm going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Just pull your mesh back. And I'm adding this to the other end. This is what I'm saying, like, make sure you have your mesh out. Not too deep. Just right about there. And I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to feather the edge around my sign. Just kind of get rid of the little harsh line of my sign that is right there. Again, I don't want it to go too low. Just like that. I'm going to flip this around so you can see. And now we're going to take our bow. And our bow, knowing where my tails are, I want my tails to cascade down. And I want my loops all up in here, so that everything that could potentially get in the way of my sign is all down here and all up on the top. So once you have your location figured out approximately, you're going to feed your bow down. Not all the way to the frame either, because all that work you just did on fluffing it, you would defluff it.
So what else do you sell the signs?
I don't sell the signs. The signs came from Personalize It by Pam. And she's on Etsy. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start working on fluffing our design around our sign. I'm going to pull this around so I can see what's happening here. I'm just going to kind of tuck a little bit of the edge that's right underneath my bow. It's causing my bow to kind of pop up a little bit. Just like so. Make that up and over. Move your ribbon tails wherever you want them to fall. Okay, so this is the look that we have so far. What is the, is there a glare?
There was,
on
but
there?
it's good now.
It's good right now? Okay, cool.
Yeah, eventually we'll have to find out how to move the lights so we can get it clear.
Here, just redirect them. Okay, so I have some of these baby pink roses. These are from Michael's. I'm going to be adding these to my design. So I'm just going to trim them and kind of just decide, hey, where do I want to see some florals? So I'm just going to push these up. And I'm just placing them around the wreath in a wide variety of different places. I'll come back in and retrim these back up. But I kind of like that look. Maybe add one more pairing. We'll add this one down in here, right here by our sign. It's always good if you can get a grouping of like 3, because it's like such an odd number. People are like, wonder why they only did 3 instead of 4. That would have been a nicer, more even match. And then I'm trying to see what color I like better. I have these little baby flowers, and I kind of like the darker two-tone because it plays with the ombre colors here instead of a lighter blue, which goes with all the lighter blue. Maybe we'll combine them. So these are from Hobby Lobby. And Hobby Lobby on every other week will put their florals on sale for 50% off. So if they're not on sale when you go into Hobby Lobby, what I would suggest is wait until they do go on sale and then go get them. And these ones don't lift up. So we're going to kind of play within this and kind of decide what look we want where. So let's go in, trying to get this to go in the same location. There we go. So usually what I do is I place all my florals around my sign before I glue them, because then if I need to change anything, I can change it before I make it permanent. And then this worked out perfectly because there's exactly 6.
Hi Anna, she said, hi Kat, did you switch days and times for the public group? I've been missing you.
Yes, so Tuesdays at 4 Pacific, and then it is Thursdays at 11 Pacific. So trying to do one morning, one evening class for everyone. Okay, let's take one of the lighters. These are a little different blend. They have a large stem on these, but let's play within the same categories.
Joanne said, loving the way this is turning out.
Thanks, Joanne. I'm just trying to place them. These are all going to get cut, but I just need to look at, do I like the way they look, or is it not? So just like that. Last one. These are going to have to get paired a little differently. Let's see. What if we go to the side with that one? Just like that. I like that. It's a nice little soft arrangement without going overly crazy. And then I'm gonna remove some Queen Anne's lace, and they make it in the pink. I don't know if I'll use this, so I'm playing with the colors. just so that we can add a little touch rather than the big, huge piece. And just have little pops of pink. Just like that.
Mary, this wreath form is the standard Dollar Tree 14-inch wreath form.
Yep, hard to believe, right? It looks like so much more.
I said really enjoying the Bible study reading.
Isn't the Bible study crazy? Oh my word, I cannot wait. It's like the thing that I look forward to every single day. Because this is just going to be a mind-blowing study. Okay, I like that. So I think I'm going to go with that. So now, this is where you have to pull everything apart, but you kind of know where you have it. So we're going to start with the big flowers. In each one, I have my glue gun ready, but I'm going to take down all this excess. So the thing about Deco Mesh and glue is they're like best friends. Deco Mesh just loves to hold our florals wherever it needs to go. And do I want to keep these? Kind of like the leaves, but I'm like, we don't really see them because they're so far down. So I'd rather cut them a little lower. Same thing, just glue. My glue is on hot. So on the Gorilla Glue, when you use a hot setting on your glue, it sets up the glue when it dries to be the extreme temperatures. So if you have super cold temps or super hot temperatures, this glue will last despite the temperatures. It won't like remelt and come undone. Okay, back up underneath, just like that. We'll add our 2 pieces of our Queen Anne's. If you need to make slight adjustments, then make your adjustment. So there's that one. And then we'll fix this bow, because while we were moving stuff around, things need to get readjusted. Okay, we'll do the same thing with this side. This one looks like it's missing a center, so we are going to change up the one we use. Did you guys catch that? Let me show you. This one is missing its center, so we need to put our center back in. So we're going to pull these out.
No worries, Mary, so I don't have to watch the replay. It looks. And did you do a pancake method? No.
No, this is just a fabric mesh, so it's a softer, it's not a thinner mesh, it's just not as overly thick with, let me cut these ones off too. It's just a softer, more sheared look on the mesh.
Just the ruffle method.
Yeah. Okay, there's that one. Whoops. This one we're going to help give it some support by pulling our Deco Mesh around. So we have some support for that. And there's that one. And as you can see, I'm like placing them in different places from where they were when I first started. And that's the beauty of your design, is you can make those last minute changes. Okay, last one. these out. And right inside. Did you find glue?
Yeah. Sherry, I don't think Kat said where we live. She said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear where you live. We live up in Washington.
We moved from Southern California to the extreme rainy Pacific Northwest, which just makes me so happy. I love the rain. I have loved the rain since I was a child. It's where you always found me on rainy days, knee deep in something outside. So I've dared all of our neighbors. They're like, yeah, I'll give you about 3 years being here. You'll be tired of this weather. I'm like, nope. I take that challenge wholeheartedly. Yeah, give me just one second. Once I pull that from the overhead light, it's just because I've moved our camera around. Okay. What now?
Yeah,
better?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what our wreath looks like. We're just going to keep it super simple. We're not going to overcomplicate the design. You could add more flowers all the way around if you like. I might add a couple little pieces to the center. Let's see. Let's see what I like. You might take the little, I'm going to try to cut this all the way down. Let's add the lighter blue to the center of our bow. Just like that. And then I'm going to add a couple pieces of the Queen Anne's lace and the whiter. Same thing. Letting my glue Lord, you don't need that long. Okay, so now we have a little bit of bring the florals back into the bow. So we're taking the idea of the florals from the sign. That's how I decided we're going to incorporate florals into this design. It's also why I used florals in my ribbons. It's just taking clues from the sign to create the design. And now I'll show you what it looks like on the door. So bear with me 1 second while we pivot this up. You got it? I've got this. And I'm going to fluff all of my ribbons and my ribbon tails. Pull all our glue threads off. And like I said, it's entirely up to you if you want to come in and add in more floral, less floral. I just like it a little bit soft. And springtime. Springtime to me feels more pastel. Summer feels more like the bright, bright colors. But what do you guys think of the design?
Joanne said, just beautiful, as usual, Kat.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Joanne.
And then again, just reposition all of your ribbons so you can see everything all the way through. And there you have it. Super simple design. Perfect for spring. Perfect for Mother's Day. It actually falls into all of those categories for Mother's Day, spring, every day. Great gift for pastor, pastor's wife, Bible study group, church group. Again, the sign came from Personalize It by Pam. She's on Etsy. Under that is her shop name. And that's pretty much it that I have for you guys. The next design will be coming on Tuesday, and I'll show you how to do a pancake wreath, and then we'll compare what is the difference between pancake style versus ruffle. They're pretty similar, but you're going to need like a pretty good mesh if you want a really good coverage on a pancake method wreath. If you guys would like to join my private group, it is closing to open enrollment for new members beginning February 1st. So through the end of January is the last few days remaining to do that. Love to have you join. Steve, I think, pinned it to the bottom of my page. So if you'd like to join, it's catscreationsandmore.com, and you're going to want to pick the private group membership. So other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.